Oh my goodness, can you believe it? I actually got sent the dev Q&A on Friday. This is the first time in weeks that they've actually managed to get their crap together in order to send this out ahead of time. I'm pretty hype about this. It's nice and early in the morning on Friday. I'm here in the UK, I've got my setup and that all sorted, went to IKEA, built a desk, yada yada yada. So yeah, we're going to do this one as a nice live reaction. I've not read it. I was just so surprised that we got it on time that I've just kind of opened up, hit record, and, well, here we are. So, ahoy there, folks. I'm Captain Benzie, and welcome back to another developer Q&A for Eve Echoes. Each week, the developers take a series of questions posed by you, the community. They respond to those questions, and then they post the questions and answers to the official Eve Echoes Discord, Facebook page, Twitter, and somewhere in-game. And each week, I like to go through these, adding my own thoughts and opinions, and some of you guys seem to still enjoy me doing this, so I'm keeping it up. And there is some interesting stuff happening in Echoes at the moment. Yes, genuinely, stick around to the end of the video because I've got a sneaky little thing to mention for you all that has me, honestly, genuinely, for the first time in a long time, very excited about Eve Echoes, so stick around for that. Anyway, developer Q&A for the week of the 11th through 17th of July. Do you plan on bringing back the Crimson Harvest event where we get the boxes that hold the faction warp bubbles like we did in the first one when the game launched? Good question. Genuinely good question. Crimson Harvest is considered by many to be the seminal event that NetEase have ever put on, in the fact that it was the one event where you actually wanted to log in and play the game, whereas more modern events have been log in, swipe your credit card, and then log straight back out again. Yeah, this was an actual event. It was the Halloween event back in 2020. Literally, the game had been out a couple of months, and they added all these really cool sites into high-sec, low-sec, and null-sec. When you completed the sites, there were boxes inside that opened up that gave skin containers for some very cool Halloween-themed skins, and a load of exclusive loot that we just haven't seen since, like the Meta Level 8 versions of things like target painters, warp disruptors, warp disruption bubbles, that kind of thing. Loads of really unique loot, really cool event. Ultimately, NetEase have never repeated it because a few of the high-sec whales complained that they would run the sites in high-sec because, oh no, can't have any actual risk in Eve, and then other people would warp in and just steal the loot, which personally I think is hilarious. That's so Eve. And rather than fix the event and try and make it a better thing, nope, they just cancelled it and never did it again. It was also particularly hard to monetize because there was only skins at the time. Definitely, this should be something that should be redone. It was a great opportunity for players to team up and fly together. High-sec, yeah, was crap. I'm not gonna lie, being a high-sec player during the Crimson Harvest must suck. But then again, what are you doing in high-sec? Play the actual game, you know? What does Jamie Tso say? Thank you for your question. We appreciate your interest in the Crimson Harvest event. We'll consider bringing back some past content at the appropriate time, but we cannot guarantee that it's going to be the Crimson Harvest event. It should, NetEase. Seriously, just bring the event back, copy-paste it like it was before, and then add some monetization to it, because we know that you bastards can't do anything without tempting people to swipe their credit cards. So yeah, bring back Crimson Harvest, add some monetization to it, nice and easy event, and it would do so well. This is the most asked event-based question I have ever had. People saying, oh, when are we ever going to get that back? It was amazing. Do it. It would really, really be a good... Literally, copy-paste, and the community would love it. Copy-paste it with monetization, community would still love it, and you guys get your money. Simple, right? You'd think that that was really simple. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I would love that to be around again at Halloween. It was so much fun. The skins were awesome, and I'd love to see them on some of the newer ships. Question number 2 then. 07 devs, my question is regarding the status of purple nanocores. 07, by the way, some people ask this. It's a salute emoji. It's a guy saluting. Really, honestly. Several content creators have mentioned they believe purple cores will become something players can buy and sell in the future. Oh boy. Could you tell us the status of this? I think it's a great idea with all the recent changes to the game, especially since the gold cores have now replaced them. Thanks for all the hard work. So, purple cores. Yes, this idea that we were going to be able to buy and sell them was because NetEase told us we were getting tradable purple cores. And because NetEase give us no further information than a brief bit of text like that, that's all we had to go on. And I know that some of the content creators, myself included, theorized this could be the ability to sell purple cores on the market. It turns out, and I have said this in previous videos. I don't know if any of the other content creators are still believing that this is something that's coming. It's not something that's coming. We just misunderstood. Tradable meant that when you got certain purple nanocores, you could essentially re-roll them. That was it, which you can already do in-game. You can basically open a box and then go, no, I don't want that one, and try again. That's literally all tradable nanocores means. The concept of them being traded on the market, I'm not sure if I'm for or against this. I think I'm for it because it gives players the ability to buy it with in-game currency at that rate, whereas other players, buy it off the shop and then they can sell it for in-game currency. I think that would be a good thing, but that's the exact reason why netties are highly unlikely to do it, because if I can buy it with real money and then sell it on the market, they're going to look at that as competition. Why aren't people just buying it direct from us? My argument would be that you're more likely to get people buy multiple things so that they can sell them on the market, therefore netties actually gets more money that way, rather than me looking at the whole like Concord Pass or anything that's got purple nanocores in it and going, you know what, there's nothing there I want. I can see that a lot of people are going to enjoy X, Y, and Z, but I don't want them. In this way, I could sit there and go, okay, well, I don't want any of the cores, but I could buy this one and then sell it on the market. Netties are actually getting my money that way. I don't know. I don't think that they have the foresight to consider that kind of thing. Direct monetization is all they care about, which is why plexing your account is so difficult in EVE Echoes, despite the fact that it's actually more lucrative for netties to have people plexing accounts than it is to swipe a mega. And if you're confused what I mean by that, look at how much it costs to swipe your card to buy a month of Omega, right? Now look at how much it would cost to buy that same month with Plex. Now look on the store at how much that Plex costs for someone to swipe. Remember, if I'm going and using ISK to buy Plex, someone else had to already pay for that Plex. And if someone's already paid for the Plex that I'm using, netties actually get more money for that Plex than they would if I'd swiped for the Omega. So it's not me paying, but someone else is still paying for the Plex that I am using, and netties get more money that way. Anyway, Jamie So's answer. At the moment, purple cores cannot be traded, but they can be exchanged. You see the confusion here. I don't want this to be a big, oh, China, China, China thing. There's no racism here. It's just a simple case of it's a translation error. Translating from Chinese to English is notoriously difficult. And for us, there's a difference between traded and exchanged. But when you translate Chinese into English, it's very easy just to see exchange and trade being the same thing, right? Exchanging between players, trading on the market, trading this item with the game for a different one, exchanging an item with the game for a different one. There's a lot of synonymy going on there. So that's what I've just said. They're not tradable, they are exchangeable, for the subtle difference involved there. We plan to open up more exchange options for purple cores in the future. We appreciate your support and hope you continue to enjoy playing our game. Can we honestly just cut the diplomacy from these answers? Like, we get that you're happy people are playing. We don't need that. Save the space for more questions. Question number 3. Are you planning to change the interior of tech for Citadels? The current interior is very bland for something special everyone worked hard to achieve. Jamie So says, thank you for your feedback. We've some ideas for providing more interior decorations and even linking them with music, but due to the limited staffing and its overall effect of the game, it's not prioritised on the development plan. Again, this absolute bullshit answer. Limited staffing. NetEase is the second biggest game development company in China. It's 4th or 5th in the world. They don't lack resources. They lack the ability to allocate those resources. NetEase have to go, the core team here at EVE Echoes have to go to NetEase HQ and say, we would like to add this to our game. Please, 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 will you send us some coders and designers to make it happen? And then the actual NetEase have to sit there and say, yeah, sure, we reckon that can make some money. Here's a team to make it happen. Ultimately, this means that anything like this that gets added, essentially they have to go begging to NetEase and they have to say why it will be a good thing and how it's going to make the company money, which means it's going to have to be monetized. It's essentially probably going to be more like ship skins than something that just gets updated. Remember, recently, EVE Online updated all of its Upwell structures, so when you dock in a Raitaru or an Astrahus, for example, there are different interior graphics, and it's amazing. You actually see the ship dock in properly, like reverse into position, refiring its retro thrusters, all that kind of thing. When you undock, you watch it actually launch out. If you start to undock and then cancel the undocking, it does this beautiful little circling animation. There's stuff going on in the background. When you change ship, you actually swoop the camera over your own own hangar to see the other ships. You know, it flies by all the other ships that you've got docked at your station and then stops on the one that you have, you know, now selected. It's amazing. And that was part of a completely free content update. Like, people shit on CCP for not doing X, Y, or Z and for the game being more expensive than others. But every single update they have ever done has been completely 100% free. You never pay for expansion packs. You never pay for DLC. You never pay for any of this kind of stuff. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, all the additional payments in the game are either skill points or cosmetic, which are neither here nor there, ultimately. So I love it. I love it, and I would love this to happen in Echoes as well. Yeah, having the Tech 4 Citadels, I think all the Citadels need a complete revamp on the insides. They look awful in Echoes. Even on the highest graphics settings, they just look bland and empty and boring. It needs redoing. But then again, we still need the freaking Eve Gate, like the most important piece of lore in the entire game, and it's just a skybox. It's just a freaking skybox. Like, how difficult is that to do? But no, because it didn't happen before launch, we now will never get it because it can't be freaking monetized. What are they going to do? Put a toll gate on the jump gate into system? Just, you know, pay $2 to see the Eve Gate? It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So unless they can find a way to monetize this, it's not going to happen either, which is sad, because part of Eve, a big part of Eve, is that visual and auditory experience, and I would love for those structures to actually be exciting to dock at and look at, but it doesn't make money, and I can already hear people adding into the comment section, yeah, it'd be nice, but it doesn't really do much, does it? That's the point. That's the point, because it doesn't really do much. It's considered low priority. But once it's actually in the game, you sit there and go, oh my god, this is amazing, right? Yeah, kind of sad, but there we go. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless they can actually find a way to monetize it, and then it'll be pushed up the priority list. This is the kind of crap we'll see literally as the game starts to die. Not that it isn't dying already, you know what I mean, when it gets even closer. Question number 4 then. I've been playing since the beginning. Hi there, so have I. And I always have people asking what I'm playing. I say the best mobile game ever. Oh my god, really? Please get your head out of the dev's arse crack. That's just embarrassing. They want to play, but they get turned off on how long it takes to get to tier 10. Yes, agreed with this part. Could you please shorten the time to get... No, god. To 2 to 3 months. In Diablo Immortal, they have a server level, and if you're below it, it gives you a 600% bonus to catch up. Do that or something. We desperately need this for new players. No, I get your concept. I 100% agree with your concept here. And again, I'm not attacking the player, I'm attacking the question. Sorry, I hate that intro, though. Seriously, head out of the devs' arses. I know you're probably trying to just mosey up to, you know, get your question actually answered, but... just embarrassing. That was seriously cringe, and that's coming from me. I'm Captain Cringe, right? But anyway, the actual concept of the question I kind of agree with, but the details I massively disagree with. Attacking the question here, not the player. So, the concept that it takes so long to get to Tech 10, yes, is really awful. There's no two ways about that. It is really awful. But rather than just speeding it up, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. There is no good reason for the tech level to be the way it is. Rework the tech system. Rather than, oh, you have to fly this for so long until you've got arbitrary skills that unlock everything else, make it so it matters. Make it so it matters. When I hit Tech 7, I unlocked the ability to fly the Retriever. I didn't have a single skill point in anything industrial or mining at the time, yet suddenly I could fly a strip mining barge. That, to me, makes no sense. Consider bringing it closer to the EVE Online system, that if I want to fly a Retriever, I should be training mining skills. And once I've got those skills to a basic level, then I can move up. You have trees at this point. So in EVE Online, this is a bit more in depth in the fact that you have Minmatar, Amar, Kaldari, and Galente as separate skills. But strip that away and look at EVE Echo's skill system. If you wanted to fly, say, cruisers, then you're going to have Frigate to 3, Frigate Command to 3, which will unlock Destroyer Command, and then Destroyer Command to 3 will unlock Cruiser Command, that kind of thing. Or get Basic to 4, I don't know, Basic to 4 to unlock Destroyer, then Destroyer to 4 to unlock Cruiser, and so on and so forth. Once you then hit Cruiser, you can start going up from there. And you'll have the basic Tech 1 cruisers unlocked, things like the Rupture, the Moa, the Mala, the Caracal, that kind of stuff, unlocked once you have Cruiser 1, basic Cruiser 1. and you can fly those to a certain degree. If you then want to fly something like, for example, the Rupture Interdictor, you go up from just having the Cruiser Command skill to now having Cruiser Command and some of the propulsion jamming skills, that kind of thing, and that will unlock the Rupture Interdictor in order for you to fly it. And if you want the Rupture 2 Interdictor, then you have to have Cruiser, like, say, Advanced Cruiser 4, and you would need to also have the propulsion jamming for something like that. This means that you could do away with battle cruisers requiring advanced skills. It's pointless. Just unlock battle cruisers and medium projectile turrets, and boom, you now have, or medium cannons, I guess, and now you have the Hurricane. There is no reason for a Hurricane to use advanced skills. All that does is lock it away from alpha players. Make it so the tech level is actually a thing. You don't have tech levels like Tech 1, Tech 2, Tech 3. You unlock ships by skilling towards them meaningfully. This is important because it means that you don't just have, you can't just have someone in a battleship and then flying an interceptor, because like in EVE Online, to fly an interceptor, if I want to fly, say, a Stiletto, I need to have Minmatar frigate up to 5, then I have to train into the interceptor skill, and the interceptor skill requires some of the navigation skills like micro warp drive and afterburner skills, that kind of thing. You do that. You simply do that. You want to fly an interceptor, you need to have say, frigate at least to advanced 4, because they're advanced frigates, right? So frigates at advanced 4, frigate command, and then you also need to have micro warp drive at advanced 4 in order to undock the interceptor. This means that there's an actual reason to skill into certain directions rather than just skill whatever the hell you want and still unlock everything that the game has to offer. It adds choice, it adds decision making, it's no longer arbitrary, and to me that's a big thing. What does Jamie So say, though? We understand that new players want to reach Tech 10 quickly, but veteran players have also put in time and effort to reach the current level. Fuck off with that answer. Therefore, we need to further consider this suggestion because we need to balance these two aspects carefully. Sorry, if you are the absolute cocksucker who sits there and goes, well, I'm already Tech 10 and I had to sit through 7 months of grinding. You didn't grind. You didn't do anything special to get to Tech 10. You just happened to log into the game when it was new and you sat on your fat frickin' arse until eventually the game gave you Tech 10. That's it. That is all you did. And I freaking hate people who give that answer. Seriously, it upsets me no end. Anyway, so this concept that, oh, players have put in time and effort to reach the current level. No, they haven't. They just put in time. They didn't even really put in the time. The time was going to pass anyway. Just when I started on day 1, I was Tech 3 at the same time as everyone else. I was Tech 7 at the same time as everyone else. I was Tech 9 at the same time as everyone else, which meant the content was relevant to me. Once people started to hit Tech 10, you now had people who were Tech 10, and you had people who weren't Tech 10. It was as simple as that, and that is what the game has now become. If anyone is sitting there going, well, I had to wait all the time to Tech 10, yeah, you know what? It worked at the time, but since then it has been awful, and it is single-handedly the one thing killing the game and stopping new players coming in. So if you want to sit there and go, oh, well, I did this to get to Tech 10, seriously, shut the hell up and GTFO. No one cares. That attitude is just so ridiculous. You didn't do anything to earn Tech 10. You just started the game sooner than other people. Like, wow, if that's the limit of your achievements, your parents must be so proud of you. You sat and had a video game installed on your phone for 10 months. Wow. Aren't you a special little freaking snowflake? Jamie So, seriously, get rid of that mentality, the idea that other players have put in time and effort. No, they haven't. They just waited. It's all any of us did to hit Tech 10. We just waited while the game slowly gave it to us. There was no effort involved. We didn't do anything to earn it. Just get rid of the freaking system and hand it over to everyone else. Let other players actually play this game, because right now players are quitting left, right, and center, and you're doing jack frickin' squat to incite new players to actually join. Whoever asked this question asks an excellent question. That, yeah, I've had the same. I've spoken to friends in Zimbabwe and here in the UK as well who are interested in trying Echoes. They get to maybe Tech 7 in that first couple of weeks, and then they're just bored, because there's nothing for them to do. Nothing makes sense. It's all arbitrary, sitting around and waiting, running the same crappy content over and over and over again, because there's nothing else to do. And you have to get to Tech 10, because all the decent skills are at Tech 10 now, and all the decent content is at Tech 10. So if you're not Tech 10, you're missing out on everything the game has to offer, and that is such bullshit. And if you're honestly against anything I'm saying here, argue me, debate me in the comment section down below, because Jesus, good luck trying to find a way to convince me that the tech level system isn't the worst thing that Eve Echoes has going for it right now, because all it does is arbitrarily gatekeep players from content. They don't get to do anything meaningful to move into that content. They don't have a way to, pick a decision and, make a decision and go in a certain direction. It's just literally start the game today, wait 10 months while paying for a mega, and then boom, you're Tech 10. Literally, that's it. Anyway, folks, that's it for today's Dev Q&A. Some interesting questions there. Nice to get these ahead of time for once. Nice to have this out online at, the actual time on a Friday evening. If you've made it this far into the video, remember I did promise a nice little surprise in just a moment. Before we get there, I just want to say as well, I am going to FanFest this year. I'll be flying out on the 20th, but basically I'll be in Iceland from the 21st through to the 23rd of September. If anyone is going to FanFest, I know it's more in EVE Online than EVE Echoes. I'd love to see you there. Hit me up in the comments. Come find me on Discord. I'd love to meet up with you, maybe share a beer, that kind of thing. Certainly, if you think there are questions you'd like me to ask the devs there whilst I'm up at FanFest about EVE Echoes, let me know. I'll take a list of questions with me and see if I can't get a little bit of interview time with someone to see what we can talk about there. Can't guarantee anything, but I'll try my best. Now, for the sneaky little peek into things coming in EVE Echoes. Cloud, a couple of days ago, put out in general chat on the EVE Echoes Discord, does anyone have any particular feedback regarding wormholes in EVE Online? Oh yes. I DM'd him, I reached out to him, and I said to him, look, wormholes are kind of my wheelhouse in EVE Online. It's where I've been living, it's what I do, it's the content I create. I'm even writing a big PDF guide on how wormholes work and everything you can do with them. Please hit me up. Wormholes can be fantastic. It's challenging content, but it's also gated content. If you want to do a C-13 system, for example, you have to be in a frigate or destroyer. Boom! There is the small ship content we have been asking for. Would that not be amazing? You could rework Nihilist Dead Space to be like wormholes. I've talked about this before in a video that was fixes to exploration. There's so much cool stuff that wormholes could add to EVE Echoes that it's actually challenging, it's actually interesting content, it's new stuff for players to explore. That also possibly opens up the idea of having the Tech 3 ships, Tech 3 strategic cruisers like the Tengu, the Loki, the Proteus, and the Legion, Tech 3 tactical destroyers like the Hecate, the Svipul, the Confessor, and the Jackdaw. 8 of my favourite ships in EVE Online could be coming to Echoes, along with my absolute favourite bit of content, wormholes. Now, admittedly, wormholes are going to be pretty quiet compared to EVE Online, because EVE Online has a lot of players in a smaller system. When I've talked about like wormholes and drone lands before, there's a part of me that sits there and goes, I'm not sure how this would work in Echoes, for the simple fact that if you added something like dronelands or wormholes, you're expanding space that's already pretty empty, which means the current population of players is now spread over an even wider area. That said, the fact that wormholes allow you to jump around easier, the fact that there's this whole, I could be in a wormhole system and I suddenly open up on an enemy fleet, that kind of thing happens in wormholes. It's amazing. It could even bring new players or older players back to EVE Echoes. This is the kind of content that we have been crying out for a long time, and it looks like Cloud is finally beginning to put some sort of feelers out there and get an understanding for what this kind of content could mean. And absolutely, you can bet your bottom dollar that I am going to be at the forefront of this. I will be continually messaging Cloud, asking what's going on with this. I will want to be as involved in this as I can, to give as much advice as I can, and we'll see how this works. Do I want to copy wormholes direct from EVE Online? No. I think there are some changes that could be made that would work really nicely. I think that there are some ways that EVE Echoes has done things slightly better than EVE Online that they could continue to do and work with on that. A lot of really exciting stuff going on there. I will keep you informed as best I can. Obviously, I am under NDA. That's in public channels, so I can talk about it. And it's in my private DMs as well, so I can talk about it. It's nothing there that's under NDA. But anything that is outside of NDA, I can absolutely talk about, and I will do my best to keep on top of this and share with you any developments about possible wormholes in EVE Echoes. How amazing's that? Anyway, folks, thank you for listening to the Dev Q&A right the way through to the end. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.